Yo, what's up everybody? Jumpin' here, and I am back on some Destiny 2, and Forsaken will be coming out in about 2 weeks. The sandbox changes to PvP will be coming out in a week, so a lot is happening right now in Destiny 2, and I was thinking what would be a good idea for a video is to actually show you guys, in my personal opinion, the top 5 builds for starting Forsaken. These are builds that you can create right now and prepare yourself for when Forsaken comes out. And if you use these builds, they should work great with the new subclasses and new abilities. These are builds using old gear, and then of course once you actually unlock the new exotics and things like that, you can change it up. But at first you're not going to have those, so you're going to actually have to use some of the old gear. So these are builds that will work great with the new abilities and new subclasses. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Now the first subclass that I want to actually talk about is going to be the new Sunbreaker. The new Sunbreaker looks absolutely amazing. It is a roaming super, but it is a melee super. It is not a projectile super like the classical throwing hammer super that we've always had with the Sunbreaker. This super will probably have some type of projectile attacks from what I've seen, but for the most part it is a melee super. But it looks extremely powerful. So the build that I would 100% recommend for that new Sunbreaker is going to be the Symphoset's Titan build. These gauntlets are amazing ever since they have buffed them. They've always been good because they will increase your melee lunge range. They will improve your melee and super damage when surrounded. That lasts for about 10 seconds. And it's like a 50% buff. It is a huge buff. You will do so much more damage whenever you actually get this biotic enhancements to actually trigger with your super. And right now, this is my personal favorite build in the entire game. I always play with it, and it is just great just because I love the Titan. I love the Sunbreaker currently. So when the new one comes out, this will be a build that I will 100% rock. There is no doubt in my mind. And then once we get some new stuff, I'll probably try out some new things, but I think that this build will be extremely powerful. And this works with really any Titan build because it will always improve your melee damage. It will always improve your super damage. So it doesn't really matter all that much. But overall, I do think that these are really great on the Sunbreaker. And I do think that with the new subclass, this should be amazing. Now, I'm not going to talk about the weapons or the tree because I can't actually do that. And there's no point to talk about the weapons. So let's just talk about the mods that I currently have on this setup, and then we'll move on. So for the helmet, I always use grenades will recharge faster. On the gauntlets, I use improve armor resilience. On the chest piece, I have solar melee will recharge faster. On the boots, I have grenades will recharge faster with a solar subclass. And finally, on the Titan mark, I have grenades will recharge faster with a solar subclass. So that is the build that I would recommend trying out when you unlock the new Sunbreaker, just because I know that this will be powerful. It's always been powerful, and it should remain to be very powerful. And of course, once we unlock something new, like a new exotic, maybe they will have something that will make it even better. But for now, I think that this will be your best bet for when Forsaken comes out. This is a build that you can have prepared so that when you get that new Sunbreaker, you can play around with it and have a lot of fun. Now, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to show you another Titan build, and then I'm going to go to the Hunter. Alrighty, and we are back. And the next build I want to show is really interesting because this is actually a build that's not really focused on one of the new subclasses that are coming out with Forsaken. This is actually using one of the older subclasses. But I have to talk about this just because this will be so much fun and pretty ridiculous in PvP. This is a PvP build right here. And what I'm talking about, if you guys don't know, with the new sandbox changes that they are doing, they're going to make it so that all of the Titan shoulder charge abilities are now going to one-shot, just like in Destiny 1. Which really blew my mind when I heard that, just because I thought of the Striker Titan with the Skull Fort. This is one of my favorite builds in the entire game. From the start of this game coming out, I was using this build. I made videos about it. I absolutely love this build. It's one of the best in the game in my personal opinion. But now this build is going to be ridiculous in PvP because you're able to one-shot people with your shoulder charge. If you guys don't know about this helmet, when you get a kill with an arc melee, that will trigger health regeneration, which is of course always good. And it also will fully restore your melee energy. Now the reason why this is using one of the older subclasses is just because we're going to, of course, be using the top skill tree with the Striker Titan. Now, this is a build you can actually use next week because although Forsaken's not out, when they do the sandbox changes, you can actually make this build real quick and go play some PvP and have some fun with this, one-shotting people with shoulder charge. But also you have aftershocks, so whenever you just damage enemies, that will be ridiculous because it will help recharge your grenades. So this build will be insane. You'll have a crazy amount of grenades. You'll make a lot of people really mad with this. And I was wondering, with Dune Marchers, could you potentially get quad kills? Just because with the perk from the Dune Marchers, you can actually do some extra damage to the surrounding enemies. So I wonder if you could just like go into the entire team and shoulder charge them and you'll kill the guy that you hit. But because the shoulder charge has AoE to it in this game, unlike Destiny 1, and with Dune Marchers, that will increase the damage. That will also, of course, increase the damage of the AoE effect. I wonder would that just kill everyone in that radius? That would be insane. So that's something else to try. But I do think that the Skullfort is actually the better choice just because the Skullfort will allow you to always have your melee. As long as you kill the person, when you hit them, you'll keep your melee. And that just seems insane. So this is definitely going to feel like Destiny 1 shoulder charge if you are using the Skullfort helmet. Now let me quickly go over the mods, although I do want to say this because I'm sure there's already people commenting from the previous build. Why are you showing the mods? Because when Forsaken comes out, the mods are going to change. We're going to lose all these mods. And that's true. But I do like to show the mods just in case people actually are curious what I'm currently using. Then I'll show the mods just for something to do. But I do understand that these mods are actually going to go away once Forsaken comes out. So just keep that in mind. For the helmet, I'm using increased armor recovery. For the gauntlets, I have increased armor resilience. For the chest piece, I have grenades will recharge faster. For the boots, I have increased armor recovery. And finally, for the Titan Bond, I have increased armor resilience. My split is actually really great for PvP. I have 1, 6, and 10, which is just pretty crazy. But the whole point of this build, of course, is to one-shot people with shoulder charge, have a lot of fun doing that. You'll probably get hate mail. If you're really good at it, you will probably get hate mail once they have changed the sandbox. And you're going to see people crying for nerfs, probably. So we'll see how it goes. But this is a build I had to talk about just because of the new sandbox changes. Because I think that this will be incredible once they actually do that. Alrighty, now let's talk about the Hunter. Now when it comes to the Hunter, this actually took me a minute to think about because I was thinking, what is some of the old gear that would be good with the new subclasses? And I didn't want to really cheat and just say, just use the Raiden Flux with the new Arc Strider or something like that, because I don't really think people are really excited for the new Arc Strider. Now, the one subclass that I know that they are really excited for is the new Night Stalker. That subclass looks ridiculous. And there's a couple things about that subclass that you might not know. But one of the big things is that one of the perks that you're going to get with that subclass is anytime you get a precision kill. Now, you just have to think about PvE for a moment here. Anytime you get a precision kill, you're going to go invisible. Okay? You will have probably a short duration of invisibility, but you will go invisible from a precision kill. That sounds amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So if that's the case, and I know that people are very excited for the new Night Stalker, then we have to talk about that particular build. And the best choice, in my personal opinion, for that build has to be the Graviton Forfeit Helmet. First of all, this will increase the duration of your invisibility. That will be great for the super because you can go invisible with your super. But also, this will be great for whenever you get a precision kill. You will go invisible. This will increase the duration of that. But the best part, in my personal opinion, is that your melee will recharge faster while you're invisible. And because you're going to be constantly going invisible every single time you get a precision kill, that's pretty ridiculous. Your grenade will come back super quick. And I think that this will definitely be an amazing build. Now, once again, there's really no point to talk about the mods, but I'm going to do it anyway. On the helmet, I have grenades will recharge faster. On the gauntlets, I have grenades will recharge faster. On the chest piece, I have increased reload speed with kinetic weapon. On the boots, I have increased armor recovery. And finally, on the hunter cloak, I have class abilities will recharge faster. So once again, like I said, this build will be amazing for that new Night Stalker. Until we get something better, this will be great because, of course, things like the Orpheus Rig is going to be useless with that new subclass. There's just no point to use something like that with the new subclass. So, you know, that's kind of a cool thing because, unfortunately, when it comes to Night Stalkers, and definitely in PvE, you have to use the Orpheus Rig. That's kind of one of my biggest problems with the Hunter, is because if you're using the Arc Strider, you're probably using the Raiden Flux. If you're using the Gunslinger, you're probably using the Celestial Nighthawk. And if you're using the Night Stalker, you're probably using the Orpheus Rig. And those are the 3 best exotics for the Hunter currently for PvE. But with the new subclass, hopefully people will not only just use that in PvP, they'll also use it in PvE. And it should be pretty amazing just because of that one perk that I've already talked about. Alrighty guys, now it's time to talk about the Warlock, and I'm going to be showing 2 builds for the Warlock, one for PvE and one for PvP. The first one is going to be for PvE, and that's going to be with the new Stormcaller subclass. The new Stormcaller super looks epic, okay? You are literally shooting laser beams of electricity out of your hands. And if you're a fan of anime or Dragon Ball Z, you see that, and you're instantly excited for that. And besides that, you also have the new Voidwalker, which looks epic as well. Now, when it comes to the Voidwalker, I couldn't really think of any exotic or build that you can use with that new subclass to actually make it, like, overpowered or really good. And since this is a top 5 list, I don't even have room for it. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be talking about the new Voidwalker, but I do think it looks really epic. And when it comes to the new Sunsinger, I think that will be really good for raids and things like that. But once again, I don't think people are super excited for it. I think that they are much more excited for the new Stormcaller and also the new Voidwalker. But let's go on and talk about this just because the new Stormcaller hopefully will be extremely powerful and can take out big enemies. And if you're going to play Stormcaller, you have to use the Crown of Tempest. This helmet is so amazing ever since they've buffed it. I absolutely love it. And I definitely say that this helmet is going to be amazing for the new subclass. If you guys don't know what this does, anytime you get an arc ability kill, you're going to get the Conductor perk going. Once you have ×3 Conductor going, your abilities recharge so much faster. Your melee, your grenade, it just comes back super quick. And your super as well. I made a video where I was able to get my super back in 30 seconds. That's how fast it is. It is ridiculous. But also, it will extend the duration of your super. And I just want to say, I think it doubles the duration. That's how good it is. And this will just be amazing with the new subclass. There's just no doubt about it. Now, I'm going to talk about the mods. But once again, there's really no point. But why not? Just because I'm sure some people are curious. On the helmet, I have arc melees will recharge faster. On the gloves, I have arc melees will recharge faster. On the chest piece, I have grenades will recharge faster. On the boots, I have grenades will recharge faster. And on the Warlock Bond, I have arc melees will recharge faster. Alrighty, let me go and swap this over to the PvP setup. And like I said, I can foresee the future, and I can see people complaining and calling for nerfs because I personally think that this is going to be amazing. Alrighty guys, now it's time to talk about this PvP setup and why I think that people are going to start screaming for nerfs just because of the new Stormcaller melee. If you haven't seen it, I'm actually going to show a clip right now of it. It is ridiculous. The range on the melee is unbelievable. That's like pretty much gunfight range. So you're telling me that I can shoot a guy just a little bit and then melee him from gun range. That's ridiculous. It's definitely the furthest melee in Destiny that I've ever seen. And people always complain about the Warlock melee. It's always been a thing. People have hated the Warlock melee since Destiny 1. So I can see people being upset. But we also have some really good stuff for Warlock melee. Primarily the Karnstein armlets. These things are ridiculous now. And I could just imagine these with the new Stormcaller melee, just because anytime that you get a melee kill, you instantly restore a large portion of your health, and it is a large portion, and then you will continue to restore your health for 8 seconds, and there is nothing that will interrupt this. It's not like the Worm Husk helmet where you dodge and then because you got shot, it stopped the recovery. No, no, no. This continues to recover no matter what. So I can definitely see people complaining about this because you're going to have a lot of people run around and melee people from ridiculous range, and then they're going to call BS on that. But then on top of that, if you're using these, you're going to get your health back, and it's pretty much like a Worm Husk. Oh my god, I could just see the salt levels being ridiculous for people playing PvP with that new Stormcaller. So I wanted to definitely show this off and talk about it. Now, I'm not going to talk about the mods because I've already showed them anyway, but those are the 5 builds that I personally think are going to be amazing for when Forsaken comes out. These are things that you should try once it drops and then try to have some fun with them. Alrighty guys, well I really hope that this video has helped and that you have liked it. If you have, will you please like the video for me? Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.